an opportunity to select one of the conferences, or all of the conferences that they wish to?
Well, no, we want them to come to all three, because you have to have all the knowledge. You know, you can't just go away with a little bit and just a tinkling of it. You need to be empowered with everything that you can so that you can formulate a good plan. What we will do is have, after each telecast, we will have a mass meeting. We will divide up into groups, and these teams will meet between the showings and the viewings. And when we come back to the second mass meeting, they will make reports on what they have come up with and how they're going and the direction they're going. And then at the third teleconference, they will again do the same thing. And we're hoping that the fourth meeting will be the planning and enmeshing all the plans together, so everybody will know what everybody else is doing. We're going to put the links will print the plan, and then everybody is going to put that plan into action. We want to, by Memorial Day, instead of memorializing lives being taken, we want to say that we are saving lives. And today, instead of memorializing deaths, we're going to memorialize life. Yes.
Very good. Mr. Wingfield, over the last 5-6 minutes that we have here, let's look at some of the solutions that, working within the context that you're working with the juvenile court system, what are some of the solutions that you see as perhaps being viable solutions to help us deal again with this problem of violence among young people?
Yeah, well, I think the key is realizing that it's not one answer or one simple solution, that the coordination that she's talking about, like the links with everybody working together, is one of the most important things that we can do. Continuously, because of our modern age, are looking for drive-through window solutions and quick fix answers. And human beings and our society is just too complicated for it. What we need is a commitment, the kind that the links are talking about. One of the areas the juvenile court will be working very hard to do, and what they've been working is getting more probation officers back into the community where we can resolve some of these problems on the spot, where we can work with some of the neighborhood associations, resident associations, block clubs, neighborhood watches, and etc., in identifying as early as possible the young people who have a problem, and then help refer them to resources that are going to really have an impact on changing the direction that they're going on.
I want to tell you before we leave exactly where the meetings are going to be and the time. We will be meeting at Nashville State Technical Institute in the Clement Building on White Bridge Road, 6:30, March 8th, March 28th, and April 26th.
All the meetings will be at the Nashville Tech, Clement Auditorium.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, very good.
And it's starting at 6:30 p.m. And we want everybody to be there and everybody to be on time. We will hope that we will have to spill over into the library, you know. We want everybody to come, any and everybody.
You know, over the last couple of minutes that we have here, Ms. Wingfield, let's, I'm still struck by this whole question of drugs and this whole thing of crack. Now, is the situation really as terrible as you've painted it in terms of the availability of this drug and how persons can become addicted to it with one $5?
Let me ask, I get surprised every day. All right, I was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee this past Sunday speaking at one of the churches. And one of the young men came up to me after I had gotten through speaking, saying that he was a straight-A student. He thought he was a pretty nice-looking guy, and he was trying to date young ladies who were getting good grades, coming from good families. And he said that he found himself in competition with drug dealers for those young ladies and losing. All right, now that's Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So now if they're having those problems in the smaller surrounding communities, Nashville has an underground drug culture that it is extremely large, okay? They talk about the gang problem, but the drug situation is more...
What fuels the gang problem?
Well, it's more of a problem, I think, than anything else is. And yes, unfortunately, it is true that you can become addicted the first time you try it. And this has been one of the greatest problems that we faced, in that when I was coming up, and most of my generation was coming up, young people had a normal period of experimentation where they could drink a beer or try alcohol, find out what their limitation was, try and keep it to that limitation, and by the time they reached adult status, would be able to handle that maturely. Even with the experimentation in Chicago with the harder type drugs, they never got in contact with anything that was going to addict them the first time they tried it. Young people no longer have the luxury in two areas of experimentation, one in drug use and one in sexuality. Because of the AIDS epidemic, it's possible to die or, or contact a disease that will kill you the first time you try it. This is a tremendous amount of pressure for young people, simply because the way we learn as human beings is through experimentation, success, and failure, and then trying to improve after each failure.
Very good. Let me thank both of you during this last minute that we have, Dr. Ridley and Mr. Wingfield, for coming by and giving us that excellent information. Dr. Ridley, why don't you give us those dates one more time before we end it for today, and that's...
Thank you. That's Operation Live. The telecast will be at Nashville State Technical Institute, White Bridge Road, 6:30 p.m., March 8th, March 28th, and April 26th. And we want everybody to come.
Very good. Let me thank both of you for coming by and giving us that excellent information about stopping the violence. And I'm sure that people will have an opportunity to come to these meetings, and that it is possible, I think, Ms. Wingfield, to sort of turn this thing around. I think with the kind of work that the two of you are doing, not only professionally, but both from a volunteer point of view, that we'll be able to do it. Let me again thank you for coming by and giving us that excellent information. And let me encourage you to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.